Dear students, welcome to e-PG Pathshala and e-content program of National Mission on Education under ICT. I am Professor Seva Singh, former Head Department of Library and Information Science, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. Today, I will speak about information users and their information needs. This module is part of the paper Information Sources, Systems and Services. User occupies a key place in a library and information system. All types of libraries and information systems have different groups of users. Users visit libraries primarily to obtain a particular document or to seek some information on a particular topic. Users behave differently while in library for seeking information. A library user or an information user is a person who needs information which can be provided by specific library services. A user is also one who is known to have the intention of using certain information sources and services from the library. A user therefore may be defined as a person who uses one or more of library's services at least once a year. Since user is the central focus of libraries and all the library's activities, processes, programs, etc., they revolve around the users. As library professionals, we should know about their characteristics. These characteristics include age. Age determines the ability of users to read or use of information. Another characteristic is personality of the user. Personality also indicates his ability to read and make use of the information. Motivation is yet another characteristic which is considered to be significant. If the users are motivated, obviously then they will be able to make the use of information in a much more effective manner. But if they are not motivated, then probably the information use can be hampered. However, in addition to these three, there are some other characteristics such as individual characteristics which from time to time affect the information seeking and use behavior. There are environmental or social characteristics which also from time to time affect the information use. Communication characteristics, if users are able to communicate properly about their problems, then obviously information use can be facilitated. So, in addition to these, there are some stages in the diffusion of information, and if those are crossed over, then the information use can be facilitated further. Library users are grouped into various categories on the basis of their educational background, intellectual level, and need for information. The educational background of users certainly will put them in different groups those who are undermatriculate, those who are undergraduates, or those who are postgraduates. They can also be categorized according to their intellectual level, the level of understanding information, understanding knowledge, and so on. And they can also be categorized according to the need for information which they seek to fulfill their gap in knowledge. Ranganathan categorized users as freshers who join a particular institute, educational institute, or who are visiting the library for the first time. Ordinary users who just walk in the library for not a specific, for not seeking a specific document or information. Specialist user who are well aware about their subject or well aware as to what they really want to seek from the library. And the general reader who wants to know something about everything. There are also other ways of categorizing the users. These categories may include students, and students may be undergraduate students or postgraduate students or MPhil students or PhD students. Then there are teachers who can further be divided as a newly recruited teacher, experienced teacher, etc. There are researchers also who are experienced in making use of the library or those who are new to this area. There are scientists who are very well aware as to what they really want information about, but at the same time they do not have adequate time to visit the library in search of information. Engineers who also know as to what type of information and in what format they need. Policymakers also is another group of users who need information for making and formulating policies. Doctors who want to solve a clinical problem. Managers who have some problem of managerial level regarding a labor dispute, regarding industrial disputes, regarding technical problems, regarding machinery operations, machinery installation, etc. Administrators who need information as a group, and they need this information for the purpose of administering the organization. Legislators belonging to different parties, they also need information about various aspects. And there are many more groups of users. For example, in educational institutions, there could be visiting professors who come not as a regular faculty, but from time to time they are there and they also want to seek information. There are emeritus professors and there are other teachers who are working under a given project for a fixed time period. These days, users are members of more than one library and information system. This type of multi-library membership influences their information seeking behavior. They behave differently in their home library and differently in the other library of which they have obtained membership. That library may be distantly placed geographically. But library and information systems are designed without taking the users into consideration. Although Users are the central focus of libraries, yet it is experienced that sometimes, or maybe most of the times, users are or user needs are not taken into consideration while designing library and information systems. 5 laws of library science revolve around the user and advocate to build information system keeping in mind the user's information and service needs. This is reflected in not one or two but all the 5 laws that all activities of the library should revolve around it, and rather the designing of the information system should focus on information needs and services of the users. Information is both a raw material as well as a product in the information system as a whole. Information is raw material when we obtain it from the generators of information, and when it is processed in the library, obviously this information becomes a product. It's raw material for all human activity, processed to be used for social, economic, scientific, political, cultural development. Information has always been the product of different human activities and events undertaken by individuals and organizations to achieve specific objectives. Users of the libraries, they require different types of information from time to time. Their information needs are not constant, but sometimes they need conceptual information about a topic. At the other time, they need empirical information. The same user group may also require procedural information, and at a later time may want the stimulatory information. Policy information is also needed by users, and directive information is also required by them from time to time. So these are some of the types of information which are required by the users. But in social senses, the types of information, in addition to what we have discussed, it varies and is slightly different. It could be divided in such categories as statistical information. Now, statistical information is required and used by the users in such subject areas as economics, mathematics, statistics, sociology, and so on. Descriptive information is also required by the social scientists when they need to describe or give description about a subject, about a topic in the field of their research. They also need analytical information when a particular social problem needs to be analyzed in the broader social or socio-political perspective. Information being a valuable national resource and precious asset, its value can be ascertained only on the basis of its use by the various categories of needy users. If information is not put to use, we cannot know about its value. Therefore, library and information professionals must strive to improve the use of information by increasing its accessibility. If users can access the information as processed and organized in library, obviously the use can be increased tremendously, and that is what is the ultimate aim of any library. However, while making use of the information in the library, the users may confront a couple of problems. One such problem is the vast quantity of information which is being churned out every day, every week, every month, every year, and some of it is also being added in the library. So, on any given subject, information is these days tremendously increasing. This increase in information is not only in the documentary sources, but nowadays it is also in the electronic sources of information. Another problem in the use of information is the uncertainty in expressing user needs. Users sometimes are not sure in expressing their needs, and therefore this hinders the proper use of information. And another problem is the lack of awareness about searching techniques and methods. In library, since there is a vast quantity of information stored, organized, and properly arranged, but searching techniques and methods have also been improved. But if the users are unaware of these searching techniques and methods, they may not be able to find the requisite information and hence cannot make use of the information they really need at a particular point of time. Information need is an individual or group's desire to locate and obtain specific information to satisfy a conscious need. Information needs of users vary with their educational background. If they are well educated, they will have different, their information needs will differ from those who are not as educated as the other group is. Work assignments also helps in varying the information needs. Time also is a factor with which the information needs of users go on changing. Age is another factor. Organization they work in. So the organization, the focus, the vision, the mission of the organization also very clearly affects and influences the information needs of users. Availability of technological facilities to users also influences the information needs. Those users who are not computer literate or to whom technological tools are not available, they may not make as much use of information as they want to, and so on. Information needs of users are broadly grouped into 4 types, namely information needs based upon current approach, where they want to know about the current information, current topic. Everyday approach, which is information which is needed in everyday activity. Exhaustive approach, when they want to have a complete information as far as possible. And catching up approach, when they want to brush up their knowledge, their information on or about a topic. The factors which influence the information needs include the range of information sources available in a library and information system. If a large or wide range of information sources is available, obviously much more information, adequate and accurate, will be made available. The uses to which information be put is another factor which influences the information needs of users. The background, motivation, professional motivation, and other individual characteristics of the user also influences the information needs. The social, political, economic, and other systems surrounding the users, for obvious reasons, affect and influence the information needs. The consequences of information use is another factor which influences information needs of users in one way or the other. User studies are focused on users to understand directly or indirectly their information needs, use behavior, and use pattern. There are systematic efforts to study the information needs of users, how they obtain information from information system, and the manner in which information is used by different categories of users. These things need to be taken care of or need to be determined by the librarian in the user studies. If we look at the objectives of user studies, then one of them is that it helps to know the limitations of information systems and services. User studies also exploit information resources fully, at least. User studies are also undertaken to exploit information resources fully at least cost and effort. Another objective of user study is to enhance the quality of information resources from what they have been so far. Yet another objective is to design and develop need-based and user-oriented information services and system, and to provide effective and efficient information services. So user studies are very much helpful to improve the information resources and services in a library. There are various methods and techniques available for conducting user studies. There are some direct methods of user studies. These include questionnaire method. Questionnaire method is quite popular. It's rather the most popular method of empirical study in collecting data about any topic. Particularly, it's popular in social sciences. So, questionnaire has its own advantages and disadvantages, but it is very useful in knowing the information needs of user. Interview method is another direct method where the librarian or investigator can interview the user groups and know about their information needs. Observation method is another direct method where the users, while visiting the library, could be under observation of the librarian and other library professionals, and they can observe as to what type of documents are being used or what type of information is being searched, being located by the users. Diary method is also popular, wherein the librarian or the library professionals or the investigators can maintain a diary on regular basis regarding the use of information. Operation research method is becoming quite popular these days, and it is also being applied in library and information studies. There are some indirect methods of user studies. These include citation analysis. All those citations which are given at the end of the books or at the end of the articles in journals, their analysis can be undertaken and the information needs of those users while or after analyzing these citations can be determined. Similarly, analysis of library records available in different sections of the library, for instance, in the circulation section, in the reference section, in the periodical section, in the technical section, as to what type of documents or information is in more demand. In addition to these direct and indirect methods, there are other methods also which are sometimes taken into consideration while undertaking user studies. These include feedback method. Feedback which is obtained from the library users after serving them, after giving them, providing them with any information service or information product. Similarly, there are some unconventional methods which the library can follow to determine the information use or information needs of the users. So there are so many methods which can be followed, which are available and can be followed by the librarian or the investigator for undertaking user studies, for determining the information needs of the users. So dear students, this module in this way brings us back to summing up the complete module, wherein we have tried to attempt to explain and define the concept of user of a library and information system, as to who is a user who makes use of the library and library services. The module provides various synonyms or synonymous terms of users. Library and information systems are designed and developed to meet information needs of all categories of users. This module describes different categories of users visiting library and information systems for different purposes. It studies user needs to provide effective and efficient information services and discusses the various methods available to conduct user studies so that their information needs are determined, and on the basis of those needs, either the existing information services could be improved and the new information services, new information products be designed and developed for the ultimate benefit of the user community. This is the basic philosophy of librarianship, where user is the king for the library. Dear students, in this way, you also can venture into undertaking user studies in a given library system, and thereby, on the basis of those studies, surveys, you can always improve upon the information services and information products of your library. Thank you very much.